What if I told you that there is nothing that is off the table when it comes to the life that you truly want to be living right now, that it is possible and that you're just missing three key secrets? I'm about to share them with you. One a little more scientific, one way on the spiritual end of the spectrum, and one right into the middle that blends a little science and a little spirituality. If that sounds like something that would help you, get ready, because we're going deep today as we talk about what Joe Dispenza, Jesus, and Wayne Dyer all have to say about basically the same thing: how to plug in to the best life you've ever lived. I'm Jim, y'all, and I have found peace, purpose, and prosperity in my own life. I can help you to do the same if that sounds like something you want some more of. I invite you to subscribe below. Click on one of the links there in the description, and you can go to my website and learn how you can work with me one-on-one if that's something that'll help you on your journey. What are Joe Dispenza, Jesus, and Wayne Dyer all saying about living your best life, that dream life, that life you want to be living right now? Well, first of all, in a nutshell, here is all of Joe's scientific spirituality teaching, because he does a lot of science and a little spirituality. Joe is basically saying we become what we believe. Thoughts become things, is what Joe says. And that process works by when you start to think new thoughts, it makes you feel new feelings. And when you start to feel new feelings, you start to behave in new ways. And when you start to behave in new ways, you start to believe new things about yourself. And once you get that train rolling, that momentum built up, you create a new identity. He says it this way: if you want a new personal reality, you have to create a new personal reality. And you do that by thinking new thoughts, feeling new feelings, acting with new behaviors, believing new things, and creating that new identity. That's Joe's teaching in a nutshell. Save you reading dozens of books by him and watching hundreds of hours of video, if not thousands, the way I have with Joe Dispenza. That's what it's all about. If you want to live the life of your dreams, it simply starts right here. It starts within. And now listen to that, because that is the key. Whoa, there's bugs out here at the beach. That is the key to all three of these great teachers, to what Joe says, Jesus says, and Wayne Dyer says. It's all an inward reality. See, a lot of times we get caught up trying to make our dream life happen by action alone. Action's part of it. We have to take action. We have to take steps in the direction of our dreams at some point. But if those actions aren't inspired actions, if they're not coming from the inside out, if we're working on them with hustle and grind from the outside in, they're never going to come to fruition in our life. And if they do, once we get there, we're going to have climbed our ladder of success and say, man, this thing has been leaning against the wrong building the whole time. I'm not happy up here any more than I was down here, because you're still living in hustle and grind mode. And Joe says, get away from that. Turn inward, change your thinking, and you'll change your life. Now, here's how Jesus said it. Jesus said all things are possible with God. In fact, he said nothing is impossible to the one who believes. He even said if you have the faith the size of a grain of mustard seed, nothing will be impossible for you. If you've ever seen a mustard seed, if you know what a BB out of a BB gun looks like, it's smaller than a BB. It's a tiny, of the tiniest seeds. And Jesus said you have faith. With that amount of faith, and you can move mountains. You can do anything. Nothing is impossible for the person that believes. What is that? Inward reality. Jesus says focus inside. Focus on believing, having faith in the eternal force and source of the universe that I believe is God. A lot of people call that force Gus. I used to think that was kind of disrespectful before I kind of grew in my openness. And we're going to talk about Wayne Dyer, what he says in a moment about being open. But I used to think calling God Gus, but I found out what that means is God, universe, source. That's Gus, God, universe, source. So whatever you see that higher power to be, you have to believe that your life is divinely ordered, is divinely empowered. You're eternally made. You're eternally without measure, without limit. Nothing's impossible for you, because you're plugged into that source and that force that started and sustains it and keeps it all going. You're part of that, and that force, God, is part of you, and you're connected, and I'm connected to you, and we're connected to each other. It's all inward, unseen stuff. And if you're one of those folks that has trouble let's turn around, guys. This wind is killing me here. But if you're one of those people that has trouble with the unseen, we believe in unseen things all around us all day, every day. You believe in Bluetooth, you believe in Wi-Fi, you believe in visible radio signals driving your radio. How can you not believe in the eternal source and force driving this universe and making it all happen for us? It's a reality that once we plug into it, starts to absolutely transform us and change our lives for the better. That's what Jesus is talking about. Same thing as Joe Dispenza. Start on the inside. Start here, change it there, and you'll change it on the outside. It's about faith. It's about belief. It's about science. It's about changing your thinking. What does Wayne Dyer say about this? Wayne is kind of a middleman between Jesus and Joe. Joe's more science. Jesus is complete spirituality. Wayne's a little mix of both. And he has this saying that he used to say when he was with us on this earth, and I love it. Wayne would say it like this: be open to everything, but attached to nothing. Be open to everything, but attached to nothing. What is he talking about? What he's talking about is the Buddhist principle of detachment there. Wayne was way into the Tao Te Ching and Taoism, and it's basically this belief of letting things be and being okay with everything. That's detachment, my friend. When you detach and you release any control of your life and how it's got to come out and how it's got to look, that's when you really set yourself free to make big things happen in your life. Manifestation happens when you're able to let go of the outcome. And that's the key secret ingredient that I have learned that's changed my life over the last year and a half. It took me, or almost 2 years now really, but it took me a long time to get down to that core kernel. I got into the intention setting and the manifesting whatever you want in your life by thinking new thoughts. I got into that kind of mechanical side of it early on, but it really started to open up for me when I started to learn everything I've ever manifested in my life came when I let go of the outcome and got comfortable with my life as it is. Set your intention, yes. Dream big, believe big, do all of that stuff. But when you do that, let it all go and just let God take care of it. And when you do that, that's when it comes into your life. It happened in my factory job that I was miserable in, and I set my intention when I didn't even know what manifestation was on a new job, a new environment, and I thought it was going to be one thing, and it turned out to be totally something different. I fell into the sales world and manifested everything I'd set my heart and my intention on. I have it in my sales job. When I started setting that intention for the coaching world that I'm now a part of here on YouTube and working with great folks like you, when I set my intention on that and began to see bits and pieces of it come together, and then I let go of that, guess what happened in my world with sales? My sales just skyrocketed. They took off. Why? Because I lost any attachment to them. I just kind of let that go and said I'm focused on helping people grow in their own journey and coaching folks like you and helping you find your peace and your purpose and your prosperity in life. And then my sales just skyrocketed. Why? I detached from them. And now I'm finding in coaching the same thing happening. That's starting to grow as I just let go of a need to have views on YouTube and all the stupid stuff we chase. The more I let go of that, the more I see it manifesting in my life. And this is the way it works for you too. Tell me in the comments today, what is something you would like to detach from? What is something you would like to look at in your life and say, you know what, I'm open to everything, whatever comes here, but I'm attached to nothing. Tell me in the comments, and today, drop it there, let it go, detach from it, and see how Joe and Jesus and Wayne change your life. Go be great, and I can't wait to hear back what's happened when you do this.